Hi Leute und willkommen zurück zu Genshin Impact. Wir gucken uns das neue Event an. Ich muss jetzt noch nach oben schwimmen. Ich spiele es wieder vom Asia-Server, nur ich es ein bisschen früher mir angucken kann. Einmal hier zum Angelclub. Das Event. Thelxies fantastische Abenteuer. Wir bekommen einmal Freminet als gratis Charakter, wenn wir das Event mitmachen. Ab Abenteurerstufe 20. Das Ganze ist natürlich hier in Fontaine. Wenn ihr noch nicht so weit seid, könnte es sein, dass hier so ein Start-Button steht, den ihr klicken könnt und ihr sogar einen Teleporter bekommt, der euch hierher bringt.
That can't be right. Oh, but what if they're real after all? No, that can't be. But what if there's a chance?
Greetings, miss. Is there something that's bothering you?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm Della Roche, the representative of the Fontaine Fishing Association. How can I help you? Oh, so you're adventurers. Oh, finally. Someone has heard my prayers.
Paimon could tell you were really bothered by something. Don't worry, you've got two super experienced adventurers right here. We'll take care of anything and everything for you as long as...
Oh, you are exactly the helpers I need. See, the problem is that the fish around a fishing spot at Araneus have just all up and vanished recently. They disappeared too quickly for it to have been the work of human anglers. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I had planned to go and investigate the area right away. Right, but unfortunately, as the representative of the Fishing Association, there are a few other errands that I absolutely have to run, so...
So, you'd like us to investigate the spot for you?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, you're right on the Mora, so I thought I could delegate this work to you.
Yeah, we're just really experienced in this kind of thing, that's all.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'll get a good night's sleep knowing the two of you are on the case.
But don't we just need to investigate the missing fish? It really doesn't sound too difficult.
No, you mustn't let your guard down. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I have good reason to believe that the fish have gone missing due to an encounter with the water imps. Yes, you're both Outlanders, right? Our local fairy tales often speak of a terrifying underwater creature called Thelxie. The story our parents would tell us was always the same. If we went to the water alone, then we'd be snatched away and eaten by a water imp called Thelxie.
A child-eating water imp? Did they tell you what it looked like?
My father would always describe it as a beautiful, multicolored snake woman, while my mother said it had a handsome face. It's really strange that even though the tales vary and once it finds it... But what if the fairy tale was inspired by a real-life tale, just like how a water vein always has a source? Well, I wouldn't call it evidence per se, but I've heard some rumors lately. They say that someone recently saw a child walk into the water as if he was possessed by something.
So you mean someone really got eaten?
It's all hearsay, so it's hard to confirm. Both the Opera House and the Fountain of Lucine were built there, and the sources of many water veins can be traced to the island as well. Combine that with the mysterious mist, the huge tree with expansive underground roots, and the rumor that the fish... Is it really so shocking that an island so shrouded in mystery could harbor a terrifying water imp as well?
Why does Paimon feel like you're pulling our leg?
Oh, marvelous. Then I'll just mark the stretch of water on your map.
Okay. Ja, wir machen natürlich erst ein bisschen die Main Story für das neue Event. Existenz eines Wasserunholds. Schade. Hätte ich mal einen Meter weiter weggestanden. Problem? Da hinten war ich mit dem Account noch nicht. Egal. Das war weiter auf der anderen Seite. Jetzt muss man schauen, der war unten. Ja, ich muss da erst hin. Ist ja jetzt erstmal ein Umweg, aber ich muss ja eh freischalten. Genau. Das Event hat ja mit dem Roboter Pinguin zu tun. Das hat man schon im Livestream gesehen. Nicht so wie das letzte, was einfach nur Copy-Paste von einem Event war, was wir schon zweimal hatten oder so. Also das letzte, dieses Foto-Event, Gegenstände fotografieren, da farbige Bilder von bekommen und die farbigen Bilder eintauschen, war halt Copy-Paste alles. Deshalb gab es dazu auch kein Video.
Take it easy.
Okay. Es scheint hinten in dem Wald zu sein. Ja, es scheint wirklich im Wald zu sein. Das heißt, wir können unter Wasser lang, da ist ein bisschen schneller. Ihr solltet praktisch direkt daneben einen Teleporter haben. Schon. Wo war jetzt hier der Teleporter? Irgendwo in der Nähe war doch einer. Wenn ich mir sowas mal merken könnte. Kommt doch. Jetzt muss ich mal erst was schauen. Wo ist hier ein Teleporter in der Nähe? Eigentlich irgendwo hier sein. War der oben?
Take it easy.
Ne. Naja, dann nicht. Ich dachte, dass hier irgendwo in diesem Gebiet ein Teleporter ist. Egal. Wahrscheinlich bin ich einfach nur blind und sehe es gerade nicht.
Is this the stretch of water Delaroche was talking about? It looks really peaceful. Huh?
Ah ja, Fußabdrücke.
These look pretty fresh. Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can find anything else. Wait, did you hear something just now?
Paimon? Traveler? I'm sorry. Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp.
Huh? A water imp? Thelxie, you say?
Huh? You know that name too?
No, I think our situations are probably unrelated. Sure, if that's in order. I know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy. Following her request, I've named the toy Thelxie.
Huh? But isn't it a little creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait, hold on! Fremine, you never take commissions from other people!
Yeah, but, she made a special request. But it's alright though. She'll be coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions. Hearing that, she might be willing to share some information, and you'll be able to continue with your investigation.
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't necessarily the water imp, though. We're primarily here to investigate the disappearance of the fish.
The fish? These past few weeks, I've been taking Thelxie for underwater testing every day. The pressure testing makes a lot. So, all that about the disappear.
So that's all it was?
Yes, I think that.
Whew. So in the end, it was just Fremine. Paimon spent.
I'm sorry. It sounds like I've created a lot of trouble for everyone else as well. I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Once I'm done, the fish should come back. Thank you.
Actually, how much work do you still have left, Remine? Maybe we...
Thanks,
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your
but don't you need to report back?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out, even though we were just tasked with finding out why the fish had gone missing. If we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to help them get the fish back. Exactly! So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra trip!
Is that what you'd like to do? Huh. Alright, I'll trust your judgment.
Okay.
I've stored Thelxie in the tent. He can respond to some simple verbal commands. You can try calling his name and see if he'll come over.
Whoa, sounds pretty advanced. Let Paimon give it a try. Hey, Thelxie! Are you there?
Böser Pinguin.
I got a new letter from an informant.
So that's Remine's version of Thelxie. It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Yep. Had Thelxie lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have become great friends with Pear. It's not really anywhere famous or important. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Thelxie. Nice to meet you. Do you know how to say hello?
I wanted to install a language output module, but due to time constraints, I had to give up on the idea. As it stands, Thelxie can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard. I haven't given him the ability to convert those messages into discernible words, so he can't really talk to us just...
No need to get so technical. So basically, you want us to help you complete and install this language...
No, there's no need. That wasn't one of my employer's requests. It was just something I wanted to... I have two other things I'd like your help with. The first is to do some integration testing on Thelxie's motherboard.
That doesn't sound too hard. And what's the...
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Thelxie some colorful shells and coral, so I can craft a weapon for him.
A weapon? Will Thelxie have to fight?
Mm-hmm. Thelxie will need to be able to charge forward with a weapon in hand, like that brave prince of legend.
What an imaginative employer! Naming Thelxie after a water imp, but wanting him to look like a prince?
Well, regardless of his role or species, Thelxie's purpose is the same. Just like Pear, he has come to this world to serve as somebody's companion.
Whoa, Thelxie just said something again! Could he understand what we were doing?
He can react to certain key words, but unfortunately, due to the lack of a translation module...
That's a pity. But anyway, the most important thing right now is for us to get to work. Maybe let's start by doing some testing on the motherboard.
Sounds good. The motherboard is on my...
Okay. Dann starten hier die eigentlichen Events.
Here we go. I have this testing manual, so feel free to reference it if you get stuck. Want to give it a try? Okay.
Dann schauen wir mal. Drücke linke Maustaste und ziehe, um den Schaltkreis zu installieren. Aha. Okay. Also. Also mit Rechtsklick wegmachen, mit Linksklick die Strecke. Und dann hier drauf, um ihn loslaufen zu lassen.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few.
You're doing well.
We've taken on a lot of similar
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just as I meant. Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used to Fontaine's underwater environment. Okay, that's good.
Okay. Heißt für die nächste Aufgabe ein bisschen was sammeln. Nope.
It should be right over there. We'll be able to find something that'll help us with our search.
Ja.
This is it.
Ah.
We call this thing an echoing conch. It can detect special reflection waves in the water to help us with all. Did you notice any interesting places? The echoing conch should have detected some just now. Let's go check them out.
Okay. Und wenn man das erste dann gefunden hat, bekommen wir einen Strom zum nächsten.
Alright, these should be enough. Let's head back to camp. Thank you for staying out here with me all this time.
Ein Stück weiter.
Ah, Fremine, you're back. I thought you might have been out diving.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray. I must have kept you waiting. I can report, though, that the construction of Thelxies is going quite smoothly.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
Oh, they're two of my trustworthy companions.
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like you to have some reliable friends.
It's really nice to meet you, Madame d'Estray. Are you Fremine's employer? Paimon is Paimon and...
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are...
Oh, do you really think so?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water imps. And I wouldn't have had to trouble Fremine here with this commission.
Obsessed with the tales of water imps?
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request yet? I would have thought Fremine had
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it. We'll...
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission.
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll...
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water. My child is rather special, however. While most other children are terrified of Thelxie, he's infatuated with him.
Infatuated? With a water imp?
Yes. He told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the water imp actually sang out of a longing for companionship. As a result, he often goes near the water in secret.
Huh. So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer? What a unique way of thinking.
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness syndrome when he was only 8 years old. It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities. The syndrome is probably what made him so determined to become friends with the water imp.
Oh no. Is it a very serious disorder?
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon.
The family doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed some new symptoms lately, such as uncontrollable delusions.
Huh? Uncontrollable what?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality, and spends all his time in his fantasy world.
Then what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling. It goes a bit like this.
Okay, wenn er das im Schlaf gemurmelt hat und sie so viel verstanden hat, dann stimmt da was nicht.
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted a lovely fairy tale world for Thelxie.
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long.
How could the story end like this? Is that kind of fantasizing what caused your son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually loses themselves to the fantasy world of their own creation.
My poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality.
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt became the same as that of a prince.
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusions. Then we have to help him snap out of it.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor, and we think it is best to try to guide his fantasy. He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world, but since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book.
Ah, so Zuri's son also saw Thelxie as a penguin.
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again.
But if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Fremine need to make a Thelxie as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Thelxie, but my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Thelxie, and then I'll paint the journey with this Thelxie into the picture book.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria.
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the Kingdom of Water Imps. As long
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to take this seriously, and...
so we'll be playing it straight? Or, making it a fully immersive experience?
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay asleep for a bit longer. Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. I should be heading back right about now to check on my son. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view.
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help me out, I've made some more...
That's great news. I must thank you all. All right, everyone.
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady.
Let's discuss that over by the
Falsches angeklickt.
What is it, Fremine? What did you want to say?
If you don't mind me asking, I would like the two of you to mentally prepare yourselves. This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two are both really strong and will do everything you can to help the child. But with the syndrome being the way it is, if things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be able to accept the outcome.
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zuria that we'll be optimistic about everything working out?
It's not that I'm not optimistic.
Ah, so that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about.
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just seen many cases of it at the House of the Hearth, back when we lived under the previous director. They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors and one's state of mind, to environmental factors, and even ley line disorder effects. Some even say it could be caused by contamination from god remains. And from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive outcomes.
What? It can get that serious?
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst case scenario, I would prefer that you back out right now.
Yeah, that's right. Paimon's seen all of those things too. No matter how hard it might get, we won't be scared.
Really? Then in that case, let's see this real-life fantasy adventure together to the end.
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've described, then do you really think Zuria's method will be able to help? After all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will only be turned into a picture book for her son to read.
Well, I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy means that the child wants to save himself somehow. The only reason he's allowed his dream kingdom to fall is because he's lost control of his heart. But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so well, Fremine?
Well, maybe because I have also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale world, much like that boy's. I was able to draw a lot of support from it, so I believe in the power of fantasy worlds.
Einfach von Furina invaded.
So you remembered.
Böser Hydroarchon.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark! Hey, why did you put that on?
It's just... Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place with lots of penguin residents. They're all really good at making clockwork toys. And Pear is the town's triumphant hero, as well as the one who quietly protects the whole place.
Pear? But didn't you make Pear yourself?
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me because he realized how much I needed him. So it's not so much that I made Pear, as Pear chose me as his friend.
Fremine, are you sure you're not losing control of your fantasies as well?
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between fantasy and reality. I just believe that the fairy tale world of my dreams must also exist somewhere. It might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see. Or it will only reveal itself at very specific times.
Specific times? Like when you put on your diving helmet?
Yeah, that's the general idea of it.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. Both alienating, but also as if you're being protected by something. I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see some truly wondrous things.
Really? Like a miracle?
Well, if that's in order.
Hey, now's not the time! Fremine still has...
Right. Thanks for all of your help. I'll be...
Okay. Dann sind wir fertig mit der Story. War doch ein bisschen länger, als ich gedacht habe. Genau, und Thelxie bekommen wir später natürlich auch als Dekoration fürs Housing. Das müsste es jetzt schon gewesen sein, so wie ich es verstanden habe. Also das, was er uns hier gezeigt hat. Warte. Ich weiß nicht, der andere Spieler wollte anscheinend nichts. So, ja. Dann... wie der ist... Warum steht das oben? Warum stehen sie genau daneben?
What is it, Fremine?
If things don't quite turn out...
Fremine!
It's not that I'm not optimistic.